Hello, folks.
Hey Sam.
How are you
Good
doing?
morning.
So is everybody staying out of the smoke as much as possible?
Trying to.
Right? Are you working out of City Hall today?
Yeah, we're here. Realizing how what good quality our windows are here too.
Oh yeah.
Look, getting a
Well,
little strong smoke odor inside at this point, but how's it over there?
yeah. It's hazy.
Yeah.
I prefer hazy IPAs over a hazy atmosphere.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
I heard the
Um,
wind is supposed to shift and hopefully blow it out of town by this evening, so fingers
Oh, good.
crossed.
excellent, excellent.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the sun this morning looked kind of post-apocalyptic, where it's just like that little weird, or it's like it was a couple of years ago, I guess, like just that weird glowing dot that
Yeah.
doesn't look like a sun.
It was in that was like yeah felt kind of like end of days.
Yes, yeah. Got a few, well, waiting for some committee members to show up. We should have quorum today, so
Sweet. So it was great to see Bridgeworks demo kicking off.
yeah. I guess what you had to sign off on another permit application for that because they got a new contract. But I was surprised on my way in the other morning. I was like, oh, it's happening.
I had a beer with Graham on Friday, and I could tell the old boy was very relieved to, at long last, be finally done scraping and trying to figure out how to make that project come to fruition.
Yeah, it's sure a different type of stress once the project actually starts, but just getting it off the like to actually break ground is so a long time coming.
Yeah, I personally prefer the stress of like doing it rather than trying to like make it happen. if I,
A
if
little
I
more within the control.
Yeah, exactly. But no, to have a building at to have like new construction at that corner after so many years of just that whole intersection has been just so forlorn for so long, um, which is wild because it's such a prominent intersection in the city. So
Yeah,
it's great to see
yeah. Yeah,
it
it's kind of
happening.
surprising it didn't. It after the quarter went up, that didn't pop too. But
Yeah, agreed.
um, well, I've got my computer says it's I guess 11:30 now, but then my phone and everything else is saying it's 11:32. So I don't know if we're a little late getting started. Usually those two things match up a little better. But I'll go ahead and get through our preamble and then do roll call and get the meeting started. So this is the July 16th, 2026 meeting of the Historic Ohio City Design Review Advisory Committee. To go through our virtual meeting regulations and procedures, actions during the meeting will be taken by roll call vote. Recusal due to a conflict of interest should be stated for the record prior to the start of any presentation. Then the recused committee member will leave the meeting for the duration of the case discussion. The chair will call the meeting to order and ask for a roll call of the committee. The administrator will introduce the first project. The meeting will then be turned over to the applicant to proceed through their presentation. Each presentation should be completed prior to questions and comments from the committee. Once the presentation is concluded, the administrator will provide background information and will read any received public comment. The committee will then begin deliberations and project review. Please use the raised hand feature if you'd like to speak. After deliberations and review concludes, the committee will render its recommendation and/or motion. The applicant may leave the meeting at any point after their project review is complete. All projects will follow the same format until all projects are heard by the committee. Once all projects are heard, the chair will call for any committee/administrator reports. After all reports have been heard, the chair will adjourn the meeting. Regarding community comments, any and all community members may provide their written comments, thoughts, or questions regarding projects presented to the committee. Community members may also telephone their comments or questions to the committee administrator. All comments, thoughts, or questions must be submitted to the committee administrator no later than 48 hours prior to the start of the meeting. Public comment received after the deadline will not be heard by the committee. Public comment will be collected by Landmark staff and sent to the committee members for review prior to the scheduled meeting, and Landmark staff will summarize any of the received comments during the meeting. The applicant of the project is under no obligation to answer any community questions. Community members are invited to attend the design review advisory committees, but there will be no open public comment period. Regarding design review guidelines, all projects are being reviewed using the Secretary of the Interior standards for rehabilitation, which I'll have up on the next slide. They're being considered for the issuance of a certificate of appropriateness. All projects are considered on a case-by-case basis. Presentations were received and distributed to committee members for review prior to the scheduled meeting. Changes to the presentation after the confirmation of receipt by Landmark staff are not shown here today. And finally, the Historic Ohio City Design Review Advisory Committee makes recommendations to the Landmarks Commission. These recommendations are not final actions. Depending on the scope of the project, submissions may be approved administratively or will need to be reviewed by the full Cleveland Landmarks Commission. If that's the case, projects will be scheduled at the next available commission meeting after an action is taken. So always we have the standards here if anyone needs me to pull those up for reference later. We've got a couple items on the agenda. So Madam Chair, welcome back. If you'd like to call the meeting to order, I'm happy to do roll.
Yes, please do.
All right, Ms. Anderson? Ms. Flaherty?
Here.
Mr. Frondorf?
Here.
Ms. Land?
Here.
Mr. Miller? Ms. Myers?
Here.
Mr. Persons? And Ms. Marinucci?
Here.
Right, Madam Chair, we do have quorum. So without further ado, we'll go to our first case, which is case HOC 26-18. We saw this schematically a few weeks ago. Market Square, I'm sorry, the Market Garden Brew Pub, the rooftop deck. We've got Sam McNulty here and Maggie Young to present this. So if you guys just want to go through your project, let me know when you'd like me to advance the slides.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you. All right, so we'll go through this kind of front end part pretty quickly. As you said, we were here a couple weeks ago. Not really much changes, just some further detail that we've added. So this is located on the rooftop of the current Market Garden Brewery, which is just kind of the north of the West Side Market. Next slide, please. This is kind of overall view of the building. You can kind of see there are some existing mechanical spaces. So the occupied roof deck does not take up the entirety of the roof, but it is most of it. Next slide, please. So this is our kind of detail elevation. The occupied space of the roof is being covered in a rubber roof tile that goes over the existing roof membrane. We are proposing to add kind of seasonal restrooms on the north side of the existing stair penthouse at the kind of western end of the roof deck. So those are shown, and I have some elevations to share on those as well now. And then at the existing parapets along West 25th, along the rear of the building and kind of along where the beer garden is down below, those parapets are not tall enough for kind of guardrail height. So we are proposing a planter box that goes over the existing parapet that brings it up to that height and also kind of adds some nice green softening to the space as well. Next slide, please. I added this, so this is kind of a little clarity on the proposed lighting for the space. We are just proposing to do kind of standard bistro style lighting that is anchored to posts that will be set kind of along the northern edge of the property line. There's an existing building on that side, so we're not anchoring to that adjacent building. We're putting posts that will be anchored to our structure to support those string lights, and then they will kind of zigzag back and forth across the occupied roof deck to some part of the guardrail assembly on the southern side. And then none of the lights are too close to the West 25th Street kind of front facade that you can really see them much from the street. Next slide, please. These are some existing conditions photos of the building that we talked about a little bit last time. Next slide. And there you can see kind of some of those post structures, some of the lighting that is in existence, and that mesh element that gives us some shade up there without creating too much kind of structural issues. As we've kind of talked about, we're trying not to really penetrate the roof membrane as much as possible. Everything is set on top of the roof to the greatest extent possible. And that bottom right image, I think I have more slides than this, but this is kind of that existing north side of the stair tower where we are going to be adding that restroom. Next slide. And this is kind of on that narrower segment of the roof deck as well. Those are those kind of post elements that are part of the guardrail where you look over to see the beer garden below. And we'll be adding kind of a similar element on the adjacent to that taller building on the opposite side to support the string lights. Next slide. These are the elevation of the restrooms. So as I mentioned, the idea is really, obviously we're only occupying the roof deck as the weather allows. And so these will be just seasonal restrooms that will be winterized. And so the idea is to kind of just build them more as like a restroom partition. So, frame out the walls, cladded in this galvanized corrugated siding, but the kind of triangle at the top will be open and to not continue with that cladding all the way to the ground. So it'll be kind of like a restroom partition, as you might see in a commercial interior restroom. Next slide. Oh, sorry, but they do have roofs just for kind of cleanliness and comfort. And then this is the additional detail provided on those planter boxes. So on the left, you can kind of see from the installed imagery, how they kind of bridge over. I have a detail image on that wood look composite plank material, and then a section drawing below it. So they kind of bridge over that stone and masonry parapet that goes up. They're filled with a very lightweight potting soil type material to make the weight on the parapet as little as possible. And they are bolted into the masonry cap for the wall as well. And I apologize on some of the notes that I had a printing error. It makes it a little hard to read some of those. I apologize for that. Next slide. That might be, is that the end? Oh, no. And then the other element is we're adding an exterior stair. So if you look at that middle image where the round logo is, along that wall from yep, exactly, from the top left down, there will be a steel stair added. And we have a detailed drawing on that in the next page. The next slide, yep. So just a pretty standard metal railing, metal stairs, finished in a black epoxy finish. So the idea, that is not a primary entrance to the roof deck. This is just being added for egress purposes. The idea is that you would enter from the enclosed stair primarily, or from the elevator that also runs all the way up there. I believe that is the last slide.
Yes,
So
yeah,
Ben,
that's
did you
all
have
we
any?
have.
Yeah, thanks everybody for taking the time to meet with us and review this. Let us know if you guys have any questions.
Is the staircase mounted into the wall, or is it fully freestanding?
We're gonna it's be fully freestanding, but kind of belt and suspenders approach. We are going to lag bolt it into the mortar joints of the brick wall adjacent, just because we want to be extra careful with it.
Sure,
Yeah, and
just,
you can kind of see the image here. There's actually a door on the first floor below the landing, so we kind of can't drop a post right there.
the purpose of my question is, Sam, as you said, it's mounted into the mortar joints that at a future time it needed to be removed. It could be removed without harm to the building.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything we're doing here is intended to be reversible.
Okay. I don't have any further questions then.
Thank you.
Our view is we're stewards of this building for a short period of time in its history, in the neighborhood's history, and then we'll be handing the keys off to someone else, and hopefully handing it off better than we found it.
Good attitude to have.
Yeah, I appreciate that as well. I just have one question. How do the planters drain? I know it's more of a detailing item, but my concern is just protecting the existing masonry from any more moisture than it needs to be. And I know previously we talked about maybe putting like a waterproofing material within the planters. So yeah, I'm fine with the attachment. Just curious how that drains.
Yeah, they just the same way rainwater would drain. They flow over the cap, the masonry cap that we did seal, and we repaired and replaced all the mortar joints just to make extra sure that this was a good solution.
Awesome, thanks.
I also don't have any further comments or questions. Thank you. Anybody else? If not, are we prepared to make a motion?
I will move to this presented then.
Second that.
All right. Seeing no other hands, hearing no other comments. Ms. Flaherty?
Yes.
Mr. Frondorf?
Yes.
Ms. Lamb?
Yes.
Ms. Myers?
Yes.
And Ms. Marinucci?
Yes.
All right. Madam Chair, the motion passes unanimously. Maggie, Sam, my office will be in touch with next steps. But thank you guys very much.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you all.
All right. Next up, we have case HOC 26-21 at 2061 Gehring Road. Starbucks coffee signage.
And just for the record, before it begins, I need to recuse.
Thank you.
And Dan, would you like me to then sign off, or do I need to hold on?
You can go ahead and sign off if I think we had some other things to touch base on. But I sent those emails that we talked about earlier, so we should be good.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Okay, with that, I see Mr. Hales here. Scott, you want to talk us through your project? Just let me know when.
You ready for me?
Yes, yeah. Just let me know.
Okay.
Sorry, my
Okay.
battery's going low on my headphones. They keep cutting out on me. So sorry.
Okay.
It sounds
Want me to
weird
talk
you guys
fast?
listening.
All right. This shows the current building at 2061 Gehring Avenue in Cleveland. The top left shows the intro Cleveland building to the left, and then the existing building on the right. When you look at the bottom slide, bottom left, the only other existing sign there is the Hoja sign. It's just a plaque against the building. There are really no other type of signs in the area. The RTA is across the street, but their signage is minimum. When you're looking at the middle slide on the right, looking south, the graffiti and everything that's on the existing building is gone. They put new windows, doors, and everything, and refaced it. Could you go to the next slide, please? Okay. The front of the building, you see a 60-inch siren attached to the an existing sign structure. That half moon structure is scheduled to be removed, leaving the sign structure the way you see it there. The 60-inch siren will be through bolted to the sign structure. You see the 14-inch channel letters to the left and to the right. If you go to the next slide, please. This shows a 14-inch tall by 11-foot, 3 5/16 wide set of channel letters. They're spaced off the brick by a 1/2 inch. They're white trimless faces with 2 3/8 black returned. They're illuminated with white 6500K LEDs with a 12-volt power transformer situated behind the brick. You go to the next slide, please. This shows the south elevation. It's a 44-inch tall, double-sided directional. It's non-illuminated, and it has 3M reflective vinyl graphics on it. It's mounted to a concrete pad with studs in the ground. Next page. There's no signs on this portion of the building. It shows the clearance bar, the menu signs, but there is a directional that's ground mounted near the pickup window. It's illuminated. If you go to the next, no, stay there. It's illuminated. Yeah, it's on the far right hand side. I don't have a close up of that in this picture. Yes, it's 44 inches tall by 4 inches deep, and it has dark green background with white letters that's illuminated with white 6500K LEDs. If you go to the next slide, please. This shows another side, another set of 14-inch channel letters, the same specs as the west elevation. Go to the next slide, please. Next slide. Next slide. Okay, that shows you the site plan of where the signage is to be installed. Go to the next slide. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide. Okay, that shows the 60-inch siren and the specs that I reiterated earlier. Go to the next slide. That's the 14-inch channel letters. There's 2 sets of those. Again, mounted off the building by a 1/2 inch. They're just face mounted. There's no backlit lighting on any of the signs here, and they're all white LED illumination. Go to the next slide, please. This shows you the exit and thank you sign by the drive-through window. This one is illuminated, 44 inches tall, mounted to the brick pad, concrete pad. Go to the next slide, please. This is the drive-through entrance that's non-illuminated with 3M reflective graphics. Next slide. This shows the clearance bar. Next slide. These are the menu boards. Next slide. The next slide. Is that the end? Yeah, that's the
That's
end.
all I have.
Okay. That's all I have right now.
All right, well, send it to the committee for comments.
If you don't mind, I'll kick it off. I think in this application, the channel letters, the 14-inch ones, seem appropriately scaled. I really question the need for this giant siren on the top of the building. The scale of it in a historic district feels very corporate and it feels like it's scaled more for, driving through a suburb, trying to capture that attention. The building itself is pretty understated, and I feel like this sort of becomes a giant, I don't know. I don't think that it really fits the intent of the historic district.
So you're saying that we should remove it?
I guess I question what my other colleagues on the board also think, but I don't know that it needs removed, but maybe scaled down, or I don't know. It just feels quite large in that application.
Can you go to the next page? I think it's the second slide. That one right there. It may not be the exact proportion that you see here. I mean, I tried to scale it up as best I could, but when you're looking at it from a distance, it could be smaller. I know it won't be any bigger than what you see here. I mean, as far as the scale of it, I'm at a loss for words.
Yeah, does anyone else have thoughts on the scale of it or recommendations?
This is Mia. I have
siren at this location. That's standalone. The other siren is on the drive-through or the entrance sign, which is just a vinyl decal. There's no other siren that's on the building.
This is Mia. I apologize that I have my camera on today, and I also apologize if I have any background noise, as I am in two places at once at the moment. But Grace's comments were going to be my comments as well. I think the standalone letters, as long as they're specified to be mounted into the mortar joints, scale-wise and context-wise, look totally fine. Scott, sometimes if it's not possible to mount those into the mortar lines, you would need maybe a back plate or a back track. I don't know. I don't see that in the specs, but that's really important, as you probably heard in our previous, anytime we're adhering to the historic buildings, we want to make sure that we're not drilling into historic stone or brick. Just keep it into the mortar joints. I agree. That's what stood out to me too, is that the siren felt out of scale. I wish this presentation had some pictures of what the historic signage looked like. I'm looking back in Google Earth, or like just back in the Google Street View, and it certainly is the location from a historic standpoint for signage. I'm curious if looks like the old sign that is where the siren is now was just a little bit bigger than those kind of two horizontal cross supports. And I would say I'd prefer that the siren, it was a square, like a rectangular sign, but if the siren were scaled down a bit to better match that historic scale, it would be more appropriate. I'm also curious if Starbucks would consider maybe like putting verbiage on the arch itself, because the historic sign also had that. I don't know if that's providing, if that's then kind of also providing too much branding or whatever. It's more just like we have a historic structure for signage, and this does feel very kind of out of touch with the intent of the historic signage. It's like, could we get closer to that potentially, with a design there? And outside of that, in terms of, I think the secondary like wayfinding signage, I don't think I have any comments there at this time.
Okay, the half moon arch that goes above the siren, that's scheduled to be removed. From my last talk with the company that's making the signs.
Oh, interesting. See, I feel
Yes.
like that's important to note. And I also feel like that's something that we need to approve, right? Am I wrong, Dan?
Yes, yeah, no, that's part of. I mean, that's part of the signage package is removing the, I guess.
So what does the
Like-
remaining structure look like without the half circle? There's a lot of, it's all one piece from what I can see.
It's
Yeah,
quite
I'm not sure
extensive.
what the back looks like. I guess Scott, to that point, I know this project was working with State Historic Preservation Office, National Park Service on the state and federal historic tax credits. Has the State Historic Preservation signed off on this signage package at this point? Do you know?
I don't know.
Okay.
They just told me this was scheduled to be removed. I don't know the specifications beyond that.
Okay.
I'm just for the signage portion of it.
Gotcha.
That I don't know anything about that. They just told me it was scheduled to be removed, and there's talks between the building owner and the city.
Gotcha. I guess before, I just had one other question jumping back to the channel mounted letters. The electric for that's going to be installed behind the brick. Is the intent
Yes.
to have any kind of raceway, or were you going to run line through the brick, like through the masonry for each individual letter?
You have to run the power through each individual letter into the brick. Oh, yeah, keep going.
Okay. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, and I guess that's where it would be important, as one of the committee members was saying, to have these installations made through mortar joints, and then also that wire go through a mortar joint. If that's not possible, yeah, a lot of times we recommend using rails, putting like just a 2-rail system that you can run the power through and then have fewer
Okay.
mounting points, or a backer panel that's just painted out to make sure you have less intrusions into the masonry. But I think it's one of those things you have to lay out and see if you can hit the mortar joints for all the letters, because they're all different shapes.
Okay. All right. I can do that. We'll make sure that all the studs and everything and all the wiring that comes through will be through the mortar joints. Okay.
Thank you, Dan, for adding more information there. If we feel okay going back to that kind of main siren signage, I guess I'm a little dismayed to see like that home sign, that the arch would be modified. It's not shown like that in your presentation. Again, I would want this, if this federal tax, is it state or federal, are being involved with? Or which one was it?
I'm sorry, I lost. If anyone was, I didn't hear anything you said, Nia. My headphones died, and then the speakers weren't working. So
Oh,
if it was
okay, I'm
directed
sorry.
to me, I totally missed it.
No, I was just clarifying, is it state or federal that they're going for tax credits on the historic preservation?
My understanding is it was both.
Okay. I
yeah.
think I would be shocked if they don't have feelings on the signage. And I can't imagine it could be removed. But I would say I'm comfortable with everything else but that piece. And unless you've only heard from me and Grace. So if anyone else has comments, please chime in. And is this just preliminary review or are we going to be making a motion today?
This was for final review. And I'm not sure, given this, I think given the amount of signage, it would need to go to the commission for a variance, but we haven't gotten that back from zoning to find out.
I was gonna ask if there are, because this is a more unusual application to have this rooftop sign, are there zoning regulations for sizes in this? Like, you know, we have certain regulations for the sizes of decals and various things. Is there anything for this type of sign?
I'm not sure. I'd have to check with the zoning folks and try and get that feedback from them. Yeah, I mean, it's an existing sign location, you know, and like some of the the structure's still there, but there's not technically signage on it anymore. So I would think it would be treated by zoning as a new application. So yeah, I mean, I can certainly dig into that. We would, you know, we'd need that information before it went to landmarks to see if it needed a variance, but we don't always get that up front.
Yeah, because that might just answer, you know, the best recommendation for the scale of it, the size of it.
Yeah. So I guess, yeah, you guys had, there's, I guess, a couple options here. You could ask that the applicant be willing to table it so you could get some additional information. I can get some zoning information. We could come back in a couple weeks, talk about it again. Or you could also make a motion to approve it. And you could make a motion to approve it with conditions that the siren be scaled down to either a determined level or recommended, you know, between the horizontal members, whatever that is. There's the option to vote to disapprove again. So there's, I guess, 4 options: approve, disapprove, approve with conditions, or table. Unless there are additional comments.
As far as I understand, you're okay with everything except for the siren portion of it. Is that correct?
That's what it sounds like, yeah.
Okay.
And
I mean,
and Scott-
can you go ahead and make a motion for everything with the conditions of the siren? Readdressing that in the future?
I mean, that's a viable option. It might get complicated with the yeah, I'm just trying to think permitting and zoning, do all the other signage, and then if you wanted to move forward with the siren, you know, in a couple weeks or a couple months, whatever.
That could be a separate
Yeah,
application.
and that would just be added to this signage, so
Okay.
that we could still calculate that, I think. So yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's an option as well. Is that what you'd prefer as the applicant, to just say, we're gonna pull that portion off the table and just
Yes.
do everything below the parapet?
Yes.
Okay. Is the committee okay with that?
I'm great with that.
So want to make a motion to that effect?
Sure, I'll make a motion to approve as presented with the exception of the sign above the parapet.
I second that.
Thank you. All right. Looks like Ms. Flaherty had to step back. We have Mr. Frandorf, or step out. Mr. Frandorf is recusing. So Ms. Land,
Yes,
Ms. Myers,
Yes.
and Ms. Marinucci.
Yes.
All right, Madam Chair, the motion passes unanimously. Scott will be in touch as far as next steps and everything, and we can chat about the all the issues about the siren sign and how that might be able to
Okay.
get resolved. So we'll be in touch.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, Madam Chair, that is our last agenda item. So Yeah, we don't have any other items, so if you'd like to close the or adjourn the meeting.
Yes. Calling today's Historic Ohio City Design Review Advisory Committee meeting adjourned.
Great, thank you.
Thanks, Dan. Do we have any other business?